SDPB serves South Dakota through an interconnected communication system that is on 24/7, 365. The first place for Amber Alerts, public safety announcements, and EAS messages. SDPB keeps public servants and citizens informed. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB brings you closer to your government. With gavel-to-gavel coverage of the South Dakota Legislature and in-depth reporting from Pierre. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 11, 2026 South Dakota Lottery Commission. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Shauna, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Good morning. Roll call begins with Commissioner Huizinga.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Rosen. Here. Vice Chair Donahue.
Here.
And Chair Harding.
Here. All right, thank you. We do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and proceed here. The first item, I think everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda for today's meeting. So are there any questions on the agenda or any changes? All right, then hearing none, is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to item number 4 is the approval of the minutes of the March 26, 2026 meeting. Are there any questions or suggested changes to the minutes of March 26th? All right, hearing none then, I would ask for a motion for approval of the minutes of the March 26, 2026 meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Is there further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. All right, then item 5 is the conflict of interest. Are there any commission members that have a conflict of interest on any of the agenda items that they would like to suggest now? All right, I hear no conflicts of interest, so we will go ahead and continue on. Number 6 is the public comment period. The public comment period, and you'll notice that's changed on today's agenda. We used to have that towards the end of the agenda, and we've moved it earlier in the agenda here. And I'm going to let Kirsten Jasper here give us an update on that change. So Kirsten, please go ahead.
Good morning, Kirsten Jasper, Board Counsel with the Department of Revenue. Just with regard to the public comment being moved up currently, I am a member of the Task Force for Open Commission Meetings, and one of the recommendations was moving the public comment section up in the agenda, and I realize for the Lottery Commission, the agenda tends to be information sharing, which makes it probably better to have it at the end, which is why it was there at that time. But given a recommendation that it be moved up, or that the task force look at requiring that section be moved up in all boards' agendas, I thought we would try it today and seek public comment on how those members of the public that come to the Lottery Commission meetings feel about having the public comment section earlier in the agenda or at the end of the agenda.
All right, thank you, Kirsten. So what we'll do now is, as chairman of the commission, I'm going to take public comment now for the entire agenda. So if there's anyone that is here from the public that would like to address the moving the public comment period to the future, or beginning of the agenda or not, or any of the other end of the agenda items, please come forward and let us know who you are and let us know your thoughts. Anyone from the public?
Commissioner Harding, may I ask a question to begin?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Being it's moved forward and someone speaks on a topic and that may or may not be on the agenda, does this preclude them from being able to speak when we get to that topic?
I would like to take all of the comments now for all of the agenda items.
Okay.
And that way, if someone is here and they only want to speak on one thing, they don't have to wait for the entire agenda to get to that particular item.
Very good. Thank you for clarification.
Yes.
Good
Yes,
morning,
sir.
Mr.
All
Chair, members of the commission. Matt Krogman, I represent the South Dakota Licensed Beverage Dealers and Gaming Association, and which is a group of, you know who they are, restaurant owners, video lottery establishments, all of that. The hard part with moving it forward is, as was mentioned, a lot of the information is coming through the meeting, and if we don't, some of it will be new information for us, and if we don't have an opportunity at the end to give our input on that, that's a little bit concerning for us. Right now, like if public testimony, this was open for public testimony, I would have to be, or my members would have to be up here testifying on things that may not be correct, because information that comes later may change based on the information that is provided during the hearing. So we would prefer that it stays at the end of the meeting, would be our preference. So thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Krugman. Further public comments concerning any of the agenda items on today's meeting, please come forward and let us know your thoughts. I see no one here locally moving towards the microphone. Is there anyone online for the public comment period? Anyone online that would like to speak concerning during the public comment period? Please let us know who you are. Anyone online from the public that would like to address the commission on this? All right, I hear no one online. Anyone else here? Yes, Commissioner Rosen, go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Chair. I have an idea. What if we allowed someone to speak at the beginning if they chose to and didn't want to wait through the entire meeting? I don't think that would probably happen very often, but if you had somebody in that wanted to just speak to the commission, we could have a public comment period then, saving because I think the initial thought is you almost have to hear what's going on if you're here for what's on the agenda. So just a thought, if you wanted to give people an opportunity.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Yeah, I don't, I guess I'd have to ask some legal advice there on, I mean, every agenda item, if it's a public hearing, you know, but if we're compared to public comment, so I guess, Kirsten, any thoughts on that?
2 points of clarification. The law has not changed with regard to when public comment has to be at this point in time. And right now, boards and commissions have a great deal of discretion as to when they provide public comment and how often or frequently or how much time is provided. And so the boards have a great deal of discretion. The reason we moved it up is because there is a recommendation to the task force to change the law to require it to be at this point in time. And so this was more fact gathering for how it would work for this board and commission to move it up to this time for this period. But as it sits right now, there's a great deal of discretion to the board as to when and how public comment is done. Other than it is required to have a period of public comment at every board, regularly scheduled board meeting.
Question for you.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Who's recommending that that the law be changed? Did I miss that?
Kirsten Jasper, Board Counsel. So this is just through a task force that was put together by the Attorney General's office for public or for open meetings and for the Open Meetings Commission. And the job of that task force is to look at some of the different laws and how can we create it better or change it. And that was a recommendation made by someone, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure who, at the last commission meeting for the task force. And it was leaning this direction as to the recommendation of the task force to change the law in this matter. So I just,
Mr. Chair, quick follow-up.
Yes, go ahead.
Is this going to be applicable to city councils and everybody that has public meetings? Because it makes sense. In a city council meeting, it does make sense because been through that, and that's a lot different than what we're doing here, I think.
so Kirsten Jasper, Board Counsel, yes, I mean, the open meetings law is applicable to all boards and commissions.
All right, we're still in the public comment period, so anyone else from the public that would like to address the commission, please online or here in the room, please come forward and let us know your thoughts.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Lindsay.
point of information here again. Being the mayor of the city of Madison, and that, you know, we have our public comment at the end, and typically the people that speak during public comment speak on items that may or may not be on the agenda. And currently, in that, when we get to an agenda item, if there's someone from the public that does wish to speak at that point in time, they do sign in ahead of time and put on there what it is that they want to address. And so, I guess at this point in time, I'm having a little concern, like the gentleman that spoke a few minutes ago, that there may be things on the agenda that are not available in their thought process or in writing that they may want to speak on, either when we get to that topic or at the end, however it is addressed. So I'm wanting more information on the task force's idea on how we are supposed to handle this as a commission.
All right, thank you for those comments. Okay, anyone else from the public? Here, let's close this out. I will close the public comment period at this time then and bring it back to the commission for further discussion. And we've had some comments and we appreciate those very much. As Kirsten pointed out, this is a recommendation and so that's what we're trying to do here. So I think for this meeting, let's, we had one comment during the public comment period concerning the public comment period. No other agenda items. So for this meeting, we'll, so noted for the commission's thoughts on moving it like that. So we'll just go ahead and proceed with our agenda items then. And if there is someone, typically the commission meetings I've been involved in, we haven't had a lot of public things during agenda items, unless it was a public hearing. So for this meeting, we'll go ahead and continue. And then if there is someone here that wants to comment on an agenda item, I will allow it. And then we'll see what, between now and next meeting, where it ends up. So is that okay with the commission members then? That sound like a good plan? Okay, we'll go
Mr.
ahead
Chair,
and.
Mr. Chair,
yes,
one quick,
Commissioner Rhodes.
we're not expected to make a recommendation on this? Okay. I would tell them one size does not fit all. This is a classic example of that. The difference between a city council meeting and this is totally different.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, then let's go ahead and proceed then. We're down on item number 7, the Department of Revenue comments. We've got Secretary Mike Howdyshell here for the update. Welcome, Mr. Secretary.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Mike Howdyshell, I'm the Cabinet Secretary of the Department. Just for the record, I'm okay with my spot on the agenda. We don't need to talk about moving that, so.
Okay.
For future reference.
Note that, please, in the record.
No, I really don't have a whole lot to update the commission on today. Really just been kind of status quo at the Department of Revenue since our last meeting in March. I talked about our legislative implementation efforts at the last meeting. Those are still ongoing. As I mentioned, this was kind of a historic session as far as the volume of legislation that worked its way through our legislature and the amount of work that the Department of Revenue has to accomplish before July 1 to put into effect all of the new laws that impact our agency and the things that we do. But the good news is we're well on the way to getting ready for everything to go live here on July 1. I feel good with where we're at as a department. It's obviously a team effort and impacts a lot of different parts of our agency, but I think we're in a good spot to be ready to go here in just a couple of weeks. But the fun doesn't stop there for us at the department. We're already starting to look forward to the 2027 legislative session and starting discussions on what we may want to bring forward to the administration and ultimately to the legislature for things that we try to get accomplished for the next legislative session. So already starting to think about that as well. The one thing I did want to note, though, here for the commission, this last Friday, our very own executive director, Norm Lingle, celebrated his 38th anniversary with the state of South Dakota. And Norm, I think I'm correct here. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 21 of those years have been with the lottery, going back to 2005 when we came over to the South Dakota Lottery. So congratulations, Norm, and thank you for your service not only to the lottery but to the citizens of our state. So. Thank you. Mr. Chair, I think that's all I'm going to discuss today. Like I said, it's been kind of status quo at the department, and we'll kind of look to move things forward and probably have more to update you on at the next meeting in September. So with that, unless there's any questions, I'll turn it over to Norm for his comments.
All right, Secretary Howdyshell, thank you very much for that update. Are there any questions of the Secretary from any of the commission members? All right, I guess thanks a lot for the update, and we'll keep in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, and yes, thank you, Executive Director Norm Lingle, for your years of service. That's stellar, and we appreciate that. And as the Secretary pointed out, for the years of service to the lottery as well as to the state of South Dakota. All right, then, number 8 is the Executive Director comments. So Norm, we'll hear from you now.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Secretary Howdyshell, for the comments. Yeah, I started when I was 10, so, you know, the years click along. But, you know, just a quick comment. You know, when you work with a good team, you work with good vendors, it makes getting up and coming to work, you know, pretty enjoyable on there. And so, doesn't seem like it's been that long. So anyway, with that, let me get into my comments. I have 3 items that I'd just like to visit with the commission about. And the first one is our fiscal year 26 sales, kind of our end of the year projections. So we're roughly 2 weeks away from the end of the fiscal year, and so kind of trying to project out where things might end here come on June 30th. You know, when we look at instant ticket sales, you know, what we project is that we will be in the neighborhood of $46.6 million, down 1.72% year over year. You know, I think we've kind of clawed our way back a little bit with that. Instant ticket sales, you know, and David will go into that into a little more detail. But if we look at our instant sales and kind of what the net proceeds will be, you know, we project that to be somewhere in that $5.6 million range. But a lot of that won't be finalized until we complete the fiscal year 26 audit. From a draw game perspective, we're projecting to be, you know, right around 35 million. That's up 35.2% year over year. You know, the big driver, as we continue to talk about with the Powerball game, we had 2 separate billion-dollar jackpot runs, and in the draw games, jackpots drive sales, and so the jackpot gods were with us this last fiscal year. Net proceeds we expect to be somewhere in that $9.5 million range. And then video lottery, state share of net machine income, we're looking at roughly $169.5 million, up 2.82% year over year. And so video lottery seems to keep trudging right along with that. And so that's kind of what, I guess, our crystal ball, you know, 2 weeks away from the end of the fiscal year ends, what we see from a sales standpoint. Now, I will tell you that as we roll into the start of the next fiscal year, we're going to be coming up against one of those billion-dollar jackpots, you know, and so from a draw game perspective, it's going to be kind of a lift to get in front of that a little bit. So just touched a little bit on the FY26 audit. We're starting to prep for that. Every year, the Department of Legislative Audit comes up and pays the lottery a visit and rolls through a number of different things, not only financials, but also processes, permissions, system permissions, those types of things. And so they have sent us a lot of what are called control documents. We've been reviewing those and tweaking those, updating those to help prepare for the audit. The other thing that we are working on, and I think we're getting fairly close to, is entering into an agreement with Eide Bailly to help prepare the lottery's financial statements. And so we've probably been doing that for, I'm going to guess, 4 to 5 years. And so Eric and his team, along with the gentleman from Eide Bailly, have that process down fairly well. And so I would anticipate everything being finalized as far as the 26 audit around September 30 of this year. That seems to be kind of our annual goal, to have things wrapped up and completed. The final thing that I want to just talk through a little bit is an obsolescence request that the lottery received from IGT. Okay, so IGT is one of our licensed video lottery terminal manufacturers here in South Dakota. probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, they had sent us a letter, IGT had sent us a letter requesting obsolescence on 3 different platforms that are approved in the South Dakota market. One of those is called the, I'll go by what we refer to them as the Power Station Ultra. That uses the SAS protocol, which is probably the more modern protocol that is used to communicate with our central system. That model was approved in 2012. The second one is the Power Station Plus / Power Station. That uses the old protocol. That model was approved in 2008. And then the third video lottery terminal that they're requesting obsolescence on is what we refer to as the IGT 960s. And that was approved around 1996. So combined between those 3 products, there's about just shy of 1,500 of those video lottery terminals currently in South Dakota. All right, so I give you this information because this will eventually make its way back in front of the commission for a final determination. The process for a video lottery terminal manufacturer to request obsolescence is laid out in administrative rule. And there's really 3 steps to that process, okay? So the first step is the manufacturer sends us a letter requesting obsolescence. In that letter, it must be in writing and include justification and information supporting the request. So, for example, if they can no longer provide any of the equipment, logic boards, monitors, bill acceptors, those types of things for that video lottery terminal, then they will ask for that obsolescence request. A caveat to that is that a request for obsolescence cannot be made until 7 years have passed since the initial approval of that machine prototype. Okay, so then you move on to the second step. So we've received the letter from IGT. The second step is that, and as I mentioned, laid out in administrative rule, the commission shall utilize the services of an independent technical expert to verify the justification that's supporting this request. All right, so you've probably heard us talk about Gaming Labs International, or GLI. We will take this request and we will forward it on to GLI, and then the GLI team will go through that and verify if what is in the request letter, if that is accurate. There's a cost, of course, associated with that. That cost will get billed back to the person making the request. So in this case, that cost will get billed back to IGT. All right, so we send it to GLI. They send their response back to us. Then at that point, then it will come back in front of the commission. And the commission may, after a public hearing, declare an obsolete or declare an approved machine obsolete. All right, and so what does that mean? That means that for those particular models that are declared obsolete, the manufacturer will no longer need to support those, okay? They won't need to provide new bill acceptors. They won't need to provide new logic boards. They won't need to provide new monitors, those types of things. Now, I think it's important to remember that should the commission declare any of these models or all these models obsolete, they don't go dark the next day, okay? As long as they will continue, those models will continue to communicate with our central system, those VLTs will still be able to be used out in the field. What it means is that we are not going to approve any new parts for those machines. We're not going to approve a new monitor or a new bill acceptor logic board for those VLTs. And I want to give you an example, okay? So way back in 2008, roughly 18 years ago, the commission at the time declared the VLC 8700s obsolete, okay? As of today, there are still roughly 3,400 of those VLCs still active in the market, all right? And so I think you've heard us say this before. I would anticipate, should these be declared obsolete, the same thing would happen. That is, they destroy machines, they're going to strip out the working parts, they're going to go on the bench, they're going to be used to continue to keep these VLTs operating as they work towards replacing those with their purchase cycles. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's really all I have to say regarding my comments, and in particular the obsolescence request, and be happy to answer any questions from the commission.
All right, thank you, Norm. Are there questions or comments from any of the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, just
Yes, Commissioner
clarification. These expenses and that for the machines are not borne by the Video Lottery Commission. They're borne by the individuals that host these machines. Am I correct?
Commissioner Lindsay, yeah, so our licensed operators are the folks that own the machines. Now, some of those operators also own the establishments, but if they don't own the establishments, they'll work with licensed establishments to place machines as well. But to your point of your question, it's the operators that have the cost of supporting and purchasing the equipment.
Thank you.
Further questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a
Yes.
question. Norm, will this cause an undue hardship on the operators with 3,400 machines coming out of production?
Yeah, so good question. So just to clarify that point, okay, so the 3,400 number are the VLCs that were obsoleted in 2008 that are still active today. The request that IGT put forward to us a couple weeks ago involves about 1,500 machines. So I think the key point to remember is that they do not go dark. Should the commission say, yes, they're obsolete, those machines will not go dark the next day. They'll continue, the operators will continue to be able to use that inventory as long as it communicates with our central system. And I see no reason why they would not continue to communicate with our central system.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Huizinga, did you have a question?
Thank you, Commissioner Harding. Director Lingle, so just to clarify, this IGT obsolescence, this is really the first step. There's no action today on this. Is that fair to say?
That is accurate, yes. I wanted to make the commission aware that we received this letter. I wanted to state it publicly, and so there's no action expected today on this request. I would expect, maybe September, probably more likely December, where we would see some sort of final action on the obsolescence request.
And just to clarify, I mean, this is clearly in the rules and how this process works. It's defined how this process works, that this is step one, and it's just essentially an introduction at this point of that. And we have been through this before. I mean, there's different machines have been declared obsolete before, so it's not like this is the first time this has ever happened.
That is correct. You summarized it very well.
Chair Harding, one other thing, back to your
Good.
initial, you had 3 points, big picture, the South Dakota Lottery had another good year. I mean, we're a huge part of funding for the entire state of South Dakota, and, there's really the instant, the draw, and the video lottery. The instant was down just slightly, but the video lottery, to be up nearly 3% of the 3 categories of video lottery games that we deal with. Video lottery is by far the biggest part of this deal, and to be up at all is good. And, I was, my first run as a video lottery commissioner was during COVID, and, people had a lot of time and seemed to have a lot of money, and it was going up, and I was concerned that we might hit a plateau and go the other direction. But yet, here we are, 2026, we're still doing just fine on that front. And so that's encouraging, and we do our job as a commission, but it's really the operators out in the field that are doing this and providing the facilities and the games and making an enjoyable experience for the players.
Yeah, great comments. You're right. It's a team effort from the operators, the establishments, the retailers, and the lottery team, and our vendors as well to keep moving this ball forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Donahue.
Norm, would there be a way to figure out how these parts, in inventory, could be used for a single operator that might have a machine that's, going obsolete or not working, where they can access those parts? Is there any system in place to help, the operators with replacement parts?
Good question. We typically don't get into that area, Commissioner Donahue. One of the things, and I did receive the blessing from IGT that after this meeting, I'm going to provide their letter to the industry reps. Okay, and in that letter, it's going to have those parts. My hunch is that folks will take that letter, look at those parts, and probably do some internet searches to see if they have those exact parts out there, and maybe look at procuring those. But for the most part, these they're savvy business owners. They know how to keep these things running legally, and they'll have those parts, and they'll build up an inventory of those parts. I mean, I think the VLCs are a perfect example of that. I mean, I think they've built up a nice inventory of those parts. I mean, and 18 years later, we still have 3,500 of those operating.
Okay, thanks.
Further questions or comments from any of the commissioners? All right. Thank you, Norm, for that update, and we'll look for additional information then on that particular thing, obsolescence, in the future meetings then, and get an update on that probably at every one on where that's at.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, then moving on to item number 9, administrative rules hearing. This is the time and place for the Lottery Commission rules hearing to consider changes to the administrative rules to provide for the Powerball X's and O's draw game and amend other draw games. And I'll just go over a brief schedule of how we handle the administrative rule request. The hearing is being recorded, and public testimony is allowed during this procedure. So prior to testifying, it is important that anyone testifying introduce yourself and who you represent so we can have an accurate recording of the hearing. Questions from the commission may follow after each person's testimony. And so at this time, I will open the testimony for the administrative rules change. So I'll first ask for the proponent testimony from anyone in the room. proponent testimony.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Norm Lingle, Executive Director for the South Dakota Lottery, and I'm here to present the administrative rules for consideration. So before I start, just a little background. As you mentioned, what this rule packet does is would allow the lottery to participate in the Powerball X's and O's draw game, update to the most current Millionaire for Life product game group rules, repeals draw games that are no longer offered, and makes LRC suggested form and style changes to currently offered draw games. And so I will step through these. I won't go page by page, but I'm going to talk about each rule that's affected. Okay, so the first rule I'm going to mention is deals with the Powerball game, which is in Chapter 480306. What that rule amendment does is it repeals language pertaining to ineligible players. And the reason that's being repealed is that that's a duplicate rule that is already stated within statute, so it does not have to be restated. This is one of the LRC form and style changes. The next game is the Dakota Cash game in 480307. Really the same as I just mentioned. It repeals the language pertaining to ineligible players, duplicated from statute. 480310, the wild card game. This is repealing this particular game because it's no longer offered in South Dakota. And so it's really a cleanup. 480313, the Hot Lotto game, same thing. This game is no longer offered, and so we're repealing those particular rules. 480315, with the Mega Millions games, this is repealing the language pertaining to ineligible players, duplicate from statute. Monopoly Millionaires game, that game is no longer offered, so we're repealing that game from administrative rule. 480317, which is the Easy Match instant win option. That is an add-on to the Dakota Cash game. That is repealing the language pertaining to the ineligible players. That's a duplicate from statute. Lucky for Life repeals the language pertaining to the ineligible players. Duplicate from statute. Even though that game is not offered, we are keeping those rules around because we have a 180-day claim period, and we have not, that game ended the end of February. We have not met that 180-day claim period, so we need to keep that, that game within rules. 480319, which is the Lotto America game, that is repealing the language pertaining to ineligible players. That's duplicated from statute. 480320, Millionaire for Life. Okay, this is a little bit different. So what we are doing with Millionaire for Life is there's been an update to the product game group rules that take effect September 1. So if you recall, this is a game that replaced Lucky for Life. The tweaks that were made to the Millionaire for Life game rules dealt more with what I would call a risk analysis, okay? And the risk analysis focused on the top prize of $1 million a year for life, and the second prize, which is a $100,000 a year for life. Okay, so I mentioned a risk analysis. So one of the things that was looked at with that game group is what happens if we see a higher than expected number of winners at that level, all right? And so we put kind of some guardrails in as a product group, all right? And so the update to the game group rules really is if there's more than one grand prize winner in the drawing, then the amount of the cash option, which is 18 million, okay, the amount of the cash option will be divided equally by the number of grand prize winning tickets. Okay, so if there's more than one, that number of winners will be divided into 18 million, and that's what the player will receive. The second level prize, if there are between 1 and 7 second level winners in a drawing, they would receive the $100,000 per year for life, or $2.2 million in cash. If there's more than 8, then the prize liability will be capped at 15, and then that will be divided by the number of winners, and that's what each player will receive. And so, as I mentioned, this is a kind of a risk analysis. The chances of this happening are very, very rare, but it is protection that I think we need so that we don't create such a liability that we have really no pathway out of. And so that's what the Millionaire for Life game amendment covers. All right, and then I want to get into the new chapter that's being added, and that's 480321, which deals with the Powerball X's and O's game. And so a little background on that particular game. At the March meeting, I made mention that, hey, this is a game that we are in the process of developing with many other lotteries, and that we would be back for a rules hearing to allow us to sell the game. So just a little background on the X's and O's game is it leverages 2 iconic brands, okay? It leverages Powerball and the NFL. And, as we've mentioned, as was mentioned at the last meeting, Muscle and the NFL. Muscle is a multi-state lottery association, and the NFL conducted research on partnering. The NFL is top of mind throughout the year. And recently, 48 of the top 50 telecasts for a year were NFL broadcasts. Partner brands drive increased fan consideration. This will help us combat jackpot fatigue. I mentioned that we had $2 billion jackpot runs. This will help hopefully level out and not be so dependent on those big jackpots as part of that. So some game specifics. It's a $5 price point. Rolling jackpot starting at $500,000. You select 8 of 32 teams. Okay, so instead of using numbers, we're going to use team logos. All right, and so each of the teams have an associated number, but I think Arizona's number 1. I can't remember how it goes down from there, but that's what you will be at. Instead of matching numbers, you're going to match team logos. Once a week drawing that will be happening on Sundays to kind of coordinate with NFL Sundays, and that drawing will be 52 weeks a year. An exciting piece of this game, too, is it has a second chance component. Muscle is developing an app. You'll be able to enter both winning and non-winning tickets for second chance prizes that will include NFL-centric items, NFL.com gift cards, all the way to perhaps Super Bowl tickets. And so that's kind of a brief background on the game. Now I'll get into the rules. 4803-2101, that allows for a player to purchase a ticket for up to 9 future drawings. Okay, that's consistent with all our other draw games. 9 Dance plays, our future drawings is what can be purchased for all other draw games in South Dakota. 4803-2102 adopts the game group rules, the South Dakota rules for the Powerball X's and O's games. That's consistent with how we do other multi-state draw games. 4802-2103 simply authorizes the South Dakota Lottery to offer the Powerball X's and O's game. And so, Mr. Chair and members of the commission, that's kind of my update and I guess explanation of the rules that are part of this public hearing, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lingle. Are there questions from any commission members for Mr. Lingle? Any questions? Commissioner Huizinga.
Thank you. Well, Norm, that's an extensive list of cleanup items. I mean, I've been part of other government bodies, and at times we have to do some cleanup language, but that was an extensive list of things to get rid of. Dealing with the X's and O's side, the lottery industry has teamed up with other cultural items or topics through the years. In this case, it's the NFL. So that's not unusual, but in order to participate, we have to essentially go along with it. It's not like South Dakota just runs this thing. Is that fair to say that we either we're in or we're out, essentially?
Good question, Commissioner Huizinga. Norm Lingle with the South Dakota Lottery. Yeah, I mean, simply put, a lot of these games are dependent upon population. In South Dakota would not have the population to offer such a game, and so you have to combine with the other states in order to offer them. And you're exactly right. If we don't approve the rules, then we will not be able to participate in the game.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions by any of the commissioners? So, Mr. Lingle. All right, thank you, Norm. All right, I would ask for more proponent testimony. Anyone in the room, any proponent testimony on the X's and O's game? Okay. Commissioner Donahue, did you?
Chairman Harney.
Yes, go ahead.
With Norm's testimony there, I would like to move to adopt the administrative rules, Powerball X's and O's, and draw game updates as presented.
I think we need to have some more testimony first, and opponent testimony, if there is any, before we go to a motion.
Okay.
Correct? Okay. All right, so let's go to any more proponent testimony in the room. Any proponent testimony online? Anyone online proponent testimony? All right, then I will ask for opponent testimony. Anyone in the room for opponent testimony? I see no one coming forward. Is there any opponent testimony online? Anyone online for opponent testimony? All right, hearing none, then I would ask if there is any written testimony concerning the X's and O's draw game from the department.
Mr. Chair, Norm Lingle with the Lottery. There were no written comments received.
Okay, thank you. All right, then that completes our testimony for proponent and opponent testimony. There were no written comments, so I will close the public hearing portion of this and bring it back to the commission for discussion. Is there any further questions from any of the commission members? Yes, Commissioner
Chairman.
Lindsay.
Do we need to separate out the rule changes separate from the acceptance of the Powerball in our motions?
No, we can, it's my understanding we can do this in one motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, then now I would request the motion for the proposed rules as presented. Commissioner Donahue.
Chairman Harding. Again, I'd like to make a motion to move to adopt the administrative rules, Powerball X's and O's, and draw game updates as presented by Norm.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, I would ask for a roll call vote on this, so Shauna, please call the roll.
Commissioner Huizinga,
Aye.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Aye.
Commissioner Rosem, Vice Chair Donahue,
Aye.
Chair Harding.
Aye, motion carried. All right, then the next item is the instant ticket shipping contract approval, and we've got Clark Hepper here. Welcome, Clark.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, commission, I should say. Clark Hepper, Deputy Executive Director with the Lottery. I'm here to present to you for your consideration and approval the proposed small package shipper contract. The South Dakota Lottery is seeking a new delivery service contract for our instant ticket products. We are seeking the approval to enter into an agreement with Speedy Delivery for these services. The scope of the agreement is to improve the delivery services at an economical price for the instant ticket products that we ship to our retailers. To give you a little bit of background on how this process works, we currently ship over about 600 packages a week through our shipping service contract. And on a monthly basis, typically on the first week of the month, we ship an additional 650 packages for our new game launches. The package sizes consist of like a small package that has one pack of instant tickets up to like a paper box size of instant tickets based on the sell-through of that retailer and how that retailer sells our products. These packages are at a fixed cost per package rate. So a small package is going to cost you the same as a large package cost. Annually, we sell, or we don't sell, we ship over about 30,000 packages annually. And in fiscal year 2025, the lottery spent roughly $430,000 in shipping costs to ship our products out to our retailers. The current contract right now is with UPS. We've been with them for over 10 years now, closer to probably 15 years. And over that time frame, what we've seen increased costs. They've added surcharges and fuel charges to the shipping costs to us. The delivery service has gone from next day to 2-day and beyond to our retailers, and we've also lost our local contact within South Dakota. So if we have any shipping issues or have to track down packages, we don't have that local contact anymore, and it's kind of going into a black hole, so to speak. So this new contract with Speedy Delivery is going to address a lot of those issues. We secured this bid process through the Minnesota Cooperative Purchasing Venture bid process, which the state of South Dakota is a member of that venture. The Minnesota contract bid process happened back in 2025, where they went out for bid for their services, and they awarded that contract to Speedy Delivery. Under South Dakota Codified Law 518A-1, it allows the South Dakota Lottery or state of South Dakota to participate in this venture. The terms of the contract that we're looking to enter into is through June 26 through October of 2027, with 36 months of extensions available through that contract. The original contract with the state of Minnesota, they started their contract last fall in, I think, November of 2025, and it's basically a 3-year contract or 2.5-year contract. The new contract will provide next-day service, delivery service, and 2-day service for our lottery products to our retailers. There will be no additional service charges, no fuel charges or extra service charges that they can tack onto that. We do have a local contact within Sioux Falls. They have hubs in Sioux Falls, Pierre, Aberdeen, and Rapid City that will help ship our products out. So we'll have an individual in our Sioux Falls or close to our Sioux Falls office will help us troubleshoot any shipping issues. We're going to receive a better rate. Currently, it will save us over 50% of our shipping costs. Currently, we're paying between $13 and $14 per package. The new contract is for $5.08 per package. So if you take the 2025 numbers, that's about over $250,000 savings in our shipping costs, so which will help us with our transfers back to the good causes that we support through our instant ticket products. And with that, Mr. Chair and members of the commission, I would ask you for your approval to enter into an agreement with Speedy Delivery for our small package delivery service for our instant ticket products, and I'll stand by for any questions.
All right, thank you for that update. Are there questions or comments by any of the commissioners? Commissioner Huizenga.
Thank you, Chair Harding. Well, Clark, appreciate the presentation and also just your work on this deal. I mean, we've all experienced frustrations with sending and delivering packages in our own personal lives just outside of the lottery. So anytime we can find a better way to do things, and you know, it's one of them deals where UPS or any company is good until they're not, and then you got to come up with a better plan. And Speedy has done this. They're in the business of delivering packages. They seem like more of a regional company versus a big company, and it, you know, you're trying to be more efficient and save some money. And you know, also in another role as a commissioner, these multi-state bid deals that you can hook onto are oftentimes a very good deal, whether you're buying equipment or in this case, we're providing delivery services, but those can be a very cost-efficient way of doing things that we maybe couldn't do on our own, but they, you know, as part of that deal, it works out good for, you know, essentially in this case, the taxpayers of South Dakota. So appreciate your work, and we're confident they can get the job done. We've done, I assume, a little work with them already, but so yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. Yeah, you're correct. Speedy Delivery is well-versed in the lottery industry. They currently provide those services for the state of Minnesota, state of Wisconsin, and I believe they're working with Iowa also. So they know the lottery industry and the ins and outs of what happens and how many products that we send out on a daily basis. So, and it's been an efficient process for us to enter into this contract with them. It's taken away a lot of this cooperative agreement venture has taken a lot of the paperwork away from us, and that Minnesota had to go through, and we were able to piggyback on their efforts and reap the benefits of a cheaper price. So,
further question, Commissioner Donahue.
Commissioner Harding, just a quick question, Clark. Is there any cap on increases in the future, and how many renewals are there at this point?
Currently, there are no caps on the increases, but the contract is for up to through 2027 with 36 months worth of, or 3 additional years of extensions that we can go on. And each time you do an extension, that you can renegotiate at that time if they want to increase costs. So.
Okay, I'd like to commend Clark and the team for making this a lot more efficient and getting a better price. That is going to help the state and all the operators, and thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lindsay, yes.
Just point of clarification, if necessary or if needed in that, we still would be able to use UPS.
Mr. Chair, yes, that is correct. We are keeping UPS as a vendor on our system, and we can ship with both vendors.
All right. Further questions or comments? All right, well, thank you, Clark. And we do need to take action on this for the instant ticket shipping contract approval. So is there a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Commissioner Rosen.
I move to approve the small ground package and freight delivery solutions contract as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All right, hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote. So please call the roll.
Commissioner Huizenga.
Aye.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Aye.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Aye.
Chair Harding.
Aye, motion carried. All right, thank you. And before we go on to item 11, let's take a short break, and we will resume at, what, 10:45? Is that about right?
Going to the curb? Oh, sorry.
We'll resume at 10:45.
SDPB serves South Dakota through an interconnected communication system that is on 24/7, 365. The first place for Amber Alerts, public safety announcements, and EAS messages. SDPB keeps public servants and citizens informed. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB brings you closer to your government. With gavel-to-gavel coverage of the South Dakota legislature and in-depth reporting from Pierre. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From early learners to lifelong students, SDPB inspires curiosity through trusted educational programs and resources for every stage of life. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. When South Dakotans need reliable information, SDPB is there providing updates and coverage that keep our communities safe and connected. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB celebrates South Dakota's student athletes with live coverage of SDHSAA state championships, sharing the excitement of hometown heroes. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder.
Yep, we should be.
All right, good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and continue. After a short break, we will continue with our June 11th, 2026 South Dakota Lottery Commission meeting. And on the agenda, we are at event number 11, the Video Lottery Report. And we've got the Director of Video Lottery and Security, Trevor Wiebe, here. Welcome, Trevor. Is your microphone on? There we go.
Yeah. Thank you. So this morning, got some video lottery numbers for you. And when we're looking at some of these numbers, I'm really this go around, really looking at the 5-year spread from where we were and where we're at today, looking at the end of the year numbers. So when we look at the numbers of terminals and establishments as of May 31st of this year, the number of establishments, we're at 1,408. And when we look at where we were 5 years ago, 1,289. That is 119 new establishments over the course of those years, which is just over 9% increase in number of establishments over that 5-year period. Good continual growth in number of establishments. And when you look at how that translates to number of terminals within those establishments, as you can see, where we're at today at 11,379 versus 5 years ago at 9,845 terminals, active terminals out in the establishments. And that is a 15.5% growth in number of terminals. So good growth in trying to fill up the terminals within those establishments. As we've talked about in the past, if there's 1,400 establishments, which there's 1,408, there could be a total of 14,000 terminals in those. So they're not at full capacity. A good example of that is one of the recent places out over on the eastern side of the state that suffered a fire. There was a loss. There was 6. They could have had 10 terminals in that establishment. There was 6 that were lost within that fire. So that's an example. Okay, so when we look at what types of terminals are in the establishments, we look at legacy versus the line terminals, and in red are the line terminals, and where we're at today is 7,981 line machines versus 5 years ago, 6,000 terminals. So that's almost 2,000. It's 1,981 terminals today versus 5 years. That's a 30% increase growth in line machines. Versus when you look at the legacy machines, 3,398 today versus 3,845 5 years ago. So there's been a decrease, and that goes towards what Mr. Lingle was talking about earlier with some of the obsolescence of some of those VLC machines. They're transitioning on their way out while the newer line games are coming in. So over the course of the 5 years, that's 447 less machines today than 5 years ago, which is about 11% decrease in the legacy machines as those transition. And what we're seeing with net machine income as we continue to add more line machines and the minimal decrease as legacy machines, with the net machine income per terminal per day, where we're at today is a slight increase actually from this time last year at $94.29. This is actually the first time where I've reported on net machine income per terminal per day where there's been an increase in the line machines. It's been a steady decline because of the number of line machines that have been being added into the gameplay. The net machine income per terminal declines, but as the gameplay is starting to pick up as the number of machines has tailored down, and as we go back 2 slides, you can kind of see the growth of the terminals over the course is actually kind of decreased the last 2 years versus back in the light blue, there was a pretty good growth of terminals put into the system. So as they come in, we're at $94.29. And a slight decrease with the legacy machines, we're at $58.02, which is just down like 55 cents from the prior year. And that leaves us where we have new machines, new terminals, and the destruction of terminals. And as you can see, we're currently at, in this fiscal year, 152 destructions and 309 new terminals, which over the last couple of years we haven't seen the growth like back in fiscal year 22 where there was 930 terminals, new terminals added and 366 destroyed. So I know there's some new, more machines that are currently in the process of the destruction process. So by the time the year end is out, we might be around that 220. We're at 152 as of today, or as the May 31st date. But so that's where we're at with new machines and destroyed machines. And so that's a total of, over the course of these years, 5 years, 2,996 new terminals, and 1,315 of those 1,315 terminals destroyed over the 5 years. So that's kind of a 5-year look. And what this year, of the 152 destroyed, 15 of those are line machines, and 137 of those are the legacy, the older VLCs. So, and that's what I have at this point, and leave it up for any questions.
Thank you, Director Wiebe. Are there any questions or comments by any of the commissioners? All right, well, thank you for the update. All right, moving on to the next item is the sales report. We've got Sales Director David Dahl here. Welcome, David.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Commission. Looking at instant sales, comparing the last 3 years as of May 31st, sales are down 1.7% versus fiscal year 25, with sales at just over 43 million. To Norm's point earlier, we did make up a little ground this past quarter with the launch of an additional $30 game, the Moneymaker, which we launched on March 30th. Now, presently, we have two $30 games out there in the market. And also with the launch of the Hidden Gems game that was launched on May 4th. This Hidden Gems game that we launched, we were pretty excited about this game, and it definitely has exceeded expectations. So this game has actually outperformed other $5 game launches by over 40%, which is an additional $44,000 in sales in just that first month that it went on sale. So, doing very well.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
Just a quick question on that. Do you have any idea what the driver is? Okay, 40% is a big one.
Yeah, it's a good question. Personally, it goes back to our team really made sure that we got out there, made sure all the retailers knew. We kind of gave them a heads up, a month or two before it actually came out. So the retailers were pretty excited about it. They displayed them the first day they came in. In my opinion, it's also the 3 scenes that we have. I don't know if you take a look at social media. I do a little bit, and credit to Wade and his team. I think there was a question out there, here's 3 hidden gems. What are your hidden gems? And there's countless number of responses of, hey, what do they think, is a hidden gem in South Dakota? And it just goes on and on. So it's pretty exciting. I'm really pleased with this ticket.
David, remind me, is there a second chance drawing on Hidden Gems?
There is. It's loaded with second chance prizes.
Okay.
I know one of the second chance prizes is a weekend at a retreat in Spearfish.
Okay.
And then the other one is a weekend shopping trip in Sioux Falls. And it also, we're giving away gas cards, gift cards to local merchants, to Walmarts and other things like that. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So
do second chance drawings help in the sales of tickets?
It does because I don't know if you can notice we put on this emblem. I can't remember how long ago, where it has in the bottom right-hand corner, second chance drawings.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Oh, sure.
exactly, and yeah, people
Yep, it's right
absolutely
there.
love it. And Wade could maybe tell you exactly how many have entered, but I know it's quite a few even in the first 2 weeks that we launched this game. So
Okay, great. I couldn't see that on the screen here. Okay, great.
gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So this next game, we will be launching this game, Plinko, on August 31st. This is a game that is themed The Price is Right. So we came up with this, well, we didn't come up with this idea. We decided to launch this game this year. So I'll step back a little bit here. Last month, we held our semi-annual game planning session with our printer, Scientific Games. And we picked out approximately 12 games that we're going to launch within the next 6 or 8 months. Of those 12, I think 3 were the holiday games that we usually launch the first Monday in October. And then we are going to launch this game, Plinko. So we did launch a Price is Right game a couple years ago that did very well. It's probably, besides Jurassic Park, probably one of our best $10 tickets in ticket sales, or $10 games, I should say. So when this came along, it was just, we're pretty excited for that August 31st launch. So this one also includes, let me step back here. This also includes a second chance drawing too, okay? So this is a linked game with other states participating. So the winner from South Dakota one winner from South Dakota and a guest will win a VIP trip to Los Angeles and attend a taping of The Price is Right, and where the winners will actually take the stage and play for prizes. We're pretty excited about this game too. We're especially with the second chance draw with this game show experience. I think it should do as well as The Price is Right, if not better. So we're pretty excited. So now on to
Yes, just a moment here. Commissioner Lindsay, go ahead.
Just, since we're doing with Price is Right, are we involved with any royalty fees or anything like that on that?
Well, no, actually, this game, that's a good question, Mr. Lindsay. So this is actually what we call a licensed game, okay? With our contract with Scientific Games, our printer, it's in the contract where we can actually participate or purchase a game like this at no cost. We get one free, free. There is no license fee for this one, so this is the one we chose. So we have to be really particular on what games we pick for this this licensed game. So, but yeah, there is no royalty fees on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Commissioner Lindsay, if I can just jump in. So there are licensed games, and if we didn't have that built into our contract, we would have to pay a license or royalty fee for this to print this game as part of it. But as David mentioned, it's built into our contract. We get one pre-licensed game per year. This is what we're using that on.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Nor. Moving on to Lotto sales. As of May 31st, Lotto sales are up over 37% over the same time last year, with sales just over 32 million. And with projections, as of May 31st, we are projecting Instant, the orange bar, at 5.58 million on net transfers, and Lotto, the black bar, at 9.5 million in net transfers versus fiscal year 25, in which instance we're at 6 million and Lotto was at 7.5 million. So combined for fiscal year 26, this is 15.08 million versus 13.58 million in fiscal year 25. And of course, Video Lottery, comparing the last 3 years, Video Lottery net machine income is projecting to have close to a 3% increase over fiscal year 25. And lastly, looking at the total fiscal year 26 revenue projections with the total combination of Video Lottery, Instant, and Lotto incident sales. As of May 31st, the total combination projection is 185.11 million versus 178.63 million in fiscal year 25. And I will stand by for any questions.
All right, thank you. Are there questions or comments from any of the commissioners? Commissioner Huizinga.
Thank you, Chair Harding. Well, David, Commissioner Rosen touched base on this, on the Hidden Gems deal. And so that game is apparently quite popular. And I've been part of this lottery commission for a long time. And a friend of mine knew that I was on the lottery and just couldn't say enough good things about that game. Well, I've been doing this a long time. Never has anybody, come up and said, hey, this is really fun, it's interesting, and they were intrigued by the different locations, and it's truly hidden gems. They're locations in the state, and we kind of know about them, but they're not Mount Rushmore either. And so I just wanted to kind of follow up on her comments that apparently locally it's quite popular, and the sales reflect that. So apparently there's some magic sauce that's making that one work. So
Absolutely.
Appreciate you and Wade and everybody work that went into that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? All right, hearing none, thank you, David, for that update. All right, moving on then. Next is the marketing report. We've got Director of Advertising and Public Relations, Wade LaRoche, here. Welcome, Wade.
Good morning, members of the commission. I wanted to give a quick update on some of the things that we're working on in the marketing section of the lottery. First and foremost, I'm going to start by looking ahead to fiscal year 2027. As we know, we have less than a month left of fiscal year 2026. So we've already kind of set the wheels in motion for what we want to do in fiscal year 2027. That kind of started with a meeting that we held with Lawrence and Schiller, our advertising agency. And what we really did during that meeting was establish some of the pillars that we want to have for our marketing calendar in fiscal year 2027. The discussion included items such as specific products, such as instant tickets, draw games, brand awareness, responsible gambling, and then even our digital properties as well, looking at the next evolutions of those. While our priorities and campaign calendars can always be fluid, if there's a trend or something like that where we have to adjust, we'll always be ready to do that. Like I said, this really kind of set the pillars for our calendar as we went. So I want to talk a little bit about a few of those that we kind of established throughout that conversation. And first and foremost is the Good Fun Squad. You may remember at our last meeting, I introduced the Good Fun Squad. It's a series of television, radio, social media, advertising efforts that really focus on the fun that the lottery provides, and it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek look at our staff and our functions as well. We've received good feedback on the Good Fun Squad from players and South Dakotans in general. It's also and really helped us with our brand awareness as well. So we're looking to continue the Good Fun Squad into fiscal year 2027. One thing that we talked about as well is the use of recurring characters. This has really helped us establish a brand identity. When people see these folks on the TV, they know it's a South Dakota Lottery spot. We enjoyed similar success with that with the delivery guy we used in years past as well. So we're looking forward to continuing with that as well. Now, obviously, there will be evolutions of this. We've liked to introduce new characters into the spots as well as time goes. But we're looking forward to the next steps and kind of establishing this brand recognition here. As David noted, we have some key instant ticket launches coming in fiscal year 2027. As we noted, Hidden Gems is doing very well. Lawrence and Schiller put out a pretty good marketing support for that as well, both at retail locations and digital as well. So we're looking forward to continuing that through the summer months. One thing we've talked about is as people are taking their road trips across South Dakota, the Hidden Gems kind of road trip theme plays in well with that as well. And I do have a quick update that I threw together as well. 3,309 non-winning Hidden Gems tickets were entered into the second chance drawing in the first month. Just for comparison, we have more than 17,000 Jurassic Park non-winning tickets entered, and that ticket has been out in the field for about 10 months. So both tickets performing very well, but that's a little comparison there. As David mentioned as well, we have some other key ticket launches on the calendar as well. The Plinko game will be a big part of our marketing calendar. One of the things with those licensed games is Scientific Games has done an excellent job providing us with TV and radio spots that we can kind of customize and use, leveraging those licensed properties and that brand recognition. And then, as always, our holiday tickets will always be a vital part of the marketing calendar. One other thing we talked about was maintaining our draw games momentum. Now, Executive Director Lingold noted that we had a really strong year in draw games. Obviously, a lot of this can be driven by jackpots, which is out of our control, but what we talked about is how we can better message and communicate to our players that these jackpot runs are available. And then also, when you look at the variety that our draw game portfolio has, really being able to market that to our players, that if you prefer a $5 game, that's out there. We have Lotto America and Dakota Cash that are just $1 a ticket. That's also available as well. So really showcasing the fun that all of our draw games can provide. And last but not least, talking about responsible gambling efforts. This is a 12-month effort that we undertake each year. And one thing I think we've really established a good foundation for this messaging. Our Keep the Fun Good messaging has won awards for us in the past. We've really done a good job of establishing to players that they should set a budget, play only for fun, and that help is available. But we also want to dig deeper into that, knowing how we can better communicate to our players some of the other caveats that help promote responsible play and healthy play as well. So one thing that we've worked with Scientific Games on is they have provided us with some truths and myths within the lottery industry. These are kind of common misconceptions about lottery that a lot of people maybe don't quite understand. Some examples of that is if an instant ticket has overall odds of 1 in 4, you buying 4 instant tickets doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to have a winning ticket. Another misconception that we've seen nationwide among lotteries is that it's okay for a parent to purchase a scratch ticket for their children. So we just want to make sure to clarify those with our players, and there's some fun ways that we can do that to really encourage healthy play. One other thing that I would note is that we've looked into how we can better provide training for both employees and retailers in terms of responsible gaming as well. So I mentioned draw games and how we can be jackpot dependent, but I want to talk about kind of a resource that we can use to generate some buzz amongst our players when it comes to our draw games. So you may remember David provided kind of a preview of our Millionaire Plus promotion that took place in April at our last meeting, and I wanted to provide an update on that. Now, as you may remember, on Mondays, players could purchase a Millionaire for Life Quick Pick and receive Dakota Cash Quick Picks for the upcoming Wednesday and Saturday draws. This was a pretty easy promotion for us to utilize with the Bright Star system, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect with Millionaire for Life being about a month after launch as well. the other thing I would note with this is we actually had paid media going for Millionaire for Life during this time frame as well. So that also helped us as well and couldn't have made the timing more perfect, like I noted. So we kind of started this to raise awareness for the Millionaire for Life game shortly after the launch, but I'm pleased to really report that this promotion did well. The 4 days led to an 89% increase in Millionaire for Life and Powerball sale, or Dakota Cash sales, I'm sorry. And that accounted to an increase of $66,127 in sales over those 4 days. Now, one thing that we found really interesting, yes, we gave away the free Dakota Cash tickets. That actually isn't included in these figures. And we also noticed that Dakota Cash sales rose without these free tickets as well. So we were able to generate kind of a wave of interest in the Dakota Cash game as well. As noted, this promotion went really well, and we can't thank the sales staff enough for communicating this with our retailers, the Bright Star team for implementing it well enough, and our retailers as well for participating and really selling this promotion to our players. Now, I will say the statistic I like most about this promotion, obviously we talk about good fun. It's more than just a slogan for us, though. Obviously, we want to generate revenue for the state. This promo resulted in nearly $20,000 in additional transfers to the state. So we were really pleased with the results of this, and we're looking forward to doing more of these in the future, which you won't have to wait long to hear about the next one. So we are going to do the red, white, and win promotion throughout the month of July. This will be structured very similar to the Millionaire Plus promotion, but really what we looked at with this promotion is how can we kind of generate more buzz for our players with some of these lesser known draw games outside of Powerball and Mega Millions. But then also we thought the Lotto America draw game worked perfectly as we celebrate America's 250th as well. So on Mondays in July, players will be able to purchase five Lotto America Quick Picks, and they will receive a Dakota Cash Quick Pick for the upcoming Wednesday and Saturday draws. So again, structured very similarly, so our players and retailers should be well read into that one. And one thing I would note with this, as we look at future games, obviously if Powerball X's and O's comes to fruition for us as well, looking at how we can utilize these promotions to generate that excitement amongst our players, but then also making sure we don't go to the well too many times. We want to make sure that these are unique and special to our players. And so there's kind of a fine line we walk there, and we'll strategically do that as we move forward. And last but not least, I wanted to share with you the details on the South Dakota Lottery Volleyball Classic. You may have seen a press release about this last month. So through our partnership with the Pentagon in Sioux Falls, we actually received a title sponsor opportunity for this event that will take place September 18th and 19th in Sioux Falls. Some of the best volleyball teams college volleyball teams in the area will compete in this. South Dakota, that includes South Dakota State, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Washington. And this title sponsorship will provide a lot of opportunities for us. As you can see with the branding itself on the logo, we got pretty good real estate on that logo. But then one other thing I would note is that the event will feature a lot of branding throughout. That includes logo placement on both sides of the court, a lucky row of the game that'll kind of generate some excitement among those in attendance. There's also other caveats such as our logo on the netting tape and on the padding as well. So these live events, live sporting events, have been pretty effective for us in building our brand. And the Pentagon, our partnership with the Pentagon has also been very effective, and they've run some pretty high-profile events there in the last year alone. So this is an event and an opportunity that we're excited for to continue to grow our brand, and we think we'll have a good footprint there. And that concludes my portion of the presentation. I will stand by for further questions.
All right, thank you, Wade. Are there questions or comments for Wade by any of the commissioners? All right, well, yes, Commissioner Donahue.
Wade, I just want to make a comment. The marketing program has been excellent, very unique, and, but on the way out here, I noticed Book Your Billboard has like 7 billboards. I don't know if we do billboard advertising. There are 7 billboards along 29 or 90 going on to 29, and they're basically empty. So you might be able to get a good deal on some marketing.
Thank you. I
there.
appreciate that. We're always looking for that, and billboards are an important part of our marketing efforts as well. So
All right.
we will definitely take that note back.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, any further questions? All right, thank you. All right, then, the next meeting then, I guess I'd look to Executive Director Lingo for that.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Next meeting is Thursday, September 17th, 2026. So that will be the first meeting of the new fiscal year. And so with that also comes the opportunity to serve as chair or vice chair. So I would ask the commission to give some thought to that, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your summer, and hopefully we won't have to bother you folks much between now and then. So September 17th.
All right, that's our next commission meeting at 9:30. So any other comments from any of the commissioners? All right, hearing none, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
From choir to debate to theater, SDPB shines a spotlight on South Dakota's talented students through SDHSAA All-State Fine Arts programming. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB.